everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm very happy to have you here, guys. In today's video I want to compare Lactea Divina from Paris Corner with Her Confession by Lattafa, and also at the end of the video I want to share my thoughts briefly on, hold on because this is not a decant, here it is, on Blanche Bete from Les Liquides Imaginaires, the fragrance, let's just say the OG fragrance that both the fragrance from Lattafa as well as the fragrance from Paris Corner took inspiration from. So yes, I want to let you know how these fragrances smell like, how they develop, and then at the end I will tell you which one to my nose is the closest to the OG. So without making the video very long, let's just start. Of course, if you have tried any of these fragrances, I would love to hear your feedback on them in the comment section, like I always say. And not only that, I would love to hear your thoughts, but I'm sure everyone who's watching this video interested in purchasing any of these fragrances could really use your feedback as well. So let's start, you guys. Let's start with Her Confession from Lattafa, because I've already filmed an in-depth review on Lactea Divina from Paris Corner. Into this video I will just briefly mention my thoughts on that fragrance, but let's start with Her Confession. So I have here two decants, you guys. One thing I want to mention from testing both of these decants of the same fragrance, Her Confession, yeah, I don't know why sometimes I call it Her Confessions, but it's just Her Confession. So Her Confession from Lattafa needs some time to sit before it fully blooms, let's just say. When you just do few sprays from a freshly opened bottle, the scent kind of lacks the body in a way, you know what I mean? But if you let it sit, I have here a decant that's much denser, much richer. You can get the, yeah, if you let it sit, let's just say it will become all in all much denser and rounder. Not necessarily darker, but definitely much denser and rounder. So I just wanted to highlight this aspect. And for the sake of the video, I will spray the version that has been sitting for a while. Okay, so right from the start, this fragrance is constructed around a lactonic accord, but not that very girly, bubbly, happy, edible / type of lactonic accord. To me, this is a lactonic accord that manages to feel very elevated, very sophisticated, and very put together. I'd say this is more of a feminine, not a girly feminine, more of a womanly type of lactonic accord. It doesn't smell youthful by any means, it doesn't smell childish like I've mentioned, it feels quite sophisticated and put together. So this opens up with a lactonic accord with that nutty tonka bean accent that's very emblematic for this DNA. The lactonic accord, imagine this beautiful, smooth, milky type of sandalwood that paired with the nutty accents from the tonka bean create a lactonic accord that feels very rich and dense and full-bodied. Yet imagine on top of that lactonic accord you have gentle, breezy white floral facets that add much more airiness throughout the blend. So right from the start, this is not as robust, this is not as thick in a way as Lactea Divina from Paris Corner. And I also pick up, imagine, like when I smell this fragrance in my mind, it's like you have a glass of milk somewhere, you drop some jasmine petals, you drop some tuberose petals, let's just say, in the glass of milk, you grate a little bit of tonka beans, and then you sprinkle some cinnamon on top of that concoction. You lean in to smell it close, but not too close, so you get whiffs of all of these facets combined, and this is the fragrance to me, while maintaining, like I've mentioned, this breezy, airy quality throughout the development. This is the lightest, the breeziest, the airiest amongst all these three fragrances. But also something to point out, it's the richest and the most decadent, let's just say, in the opening. In the opening, I feel like the lactonic accord is the most highlighted, of course, with the tonka bean, like I've mentioned, with a little bit of cinnamon that adds the most beautiful spicy touch to the fragrance, and with the floral part. Now, the floral bouquet, you guys, to me, it feels modern in a sense that it doesn't feel dated or old school by any means, you know, like those indolic, heavy, heady, rich, old school white floral fragrances. But at the same time, it's not modern, let's just say, think your white florals with a little bit of vanilla, like something citrusy from the designer section. To me, they still maintain some body to them, you know what I mean, like the white floral accord. The jasmine is a little bit more rich, the tuberose feels a little bit more rich as well. I do pick up a pinch of something green, and I'm guessing that comes from the way they did the tuberose here, but again, it's just in the background, it's like a subtle facet, it doesn't overshine the other notes, yet I still pick it up, so it adds a little bit of diversity within the white floral bouquet dimension. As this fragrance sits here and it starts to develop a little bit, I do pick up changes. I can't say that it goes through like a crazy development or anything, but I do pick up subtle changes, and I feel like the main aspect that I want to point out, you slowly but surely use the body of the milk accord. Even though, like I've mentioned, from all these three fragrances, so Lactea Divina, Her Confession, and Blanche Bête, Her Confession, even when it got some time to sit, let's just say, so the texture is right, everything about this is right. It doesn't smell off, doesn't smell sharp, doesn't smell alcohol, it doesn't smell stretched out, doesn't smell faint, you know, like the texture is done right, the body of the fragrance is done right, but the way they combine, let's just say, all of these notes, it results into a fragrance that's much more breezy. Now, like I've mentioned, with this in mind, in the opening, the lactonic accord is the most highlighted in this blend. So the fragrance all in all feels quite dense, quite full-bodied, quite rich and very round around the edges. I still pick up in the opening the white floral bouquet on top of the glass of milk, if you can imagine this. But it's definitely the lactonic accord that's the most highlighted. However, as this fragrance, let's just say, gets some time to develop here on paper and on your skin as well, the lactonic accord slowly but surely starts to lose more and more of the richness and of the body. And it starts to go a little bit more in the background. The fragrance all in all gets a little bit more airy. And what happens, you guys, is the florals that move forward. So I say amongst all these three fragrances, this is the version that's the most floral dominant for sure. Now, keep in mind, the floral accord feels a little bit rich and dense and multifaceted in a way. I do pick up the jasmine, I do pick up the tuberose. Yes, they feel very round around the edges, but they feel a tad heady, dare I say, a tad more heady. And what I mean by this is that you need to love jasmine as well as tuberose to fully appreciate this fragrance, whereas to me, in Lactea Divina, for instance, the florals are more in the background and they work again to add a little bit of diversity and complexity to the blend, but they are not one of the main highlights of the fragrance. Now, let me briefly talk a little bit about Lactea Divina. Yeah, this is constructed around the lactonic accord, for sure. Lactonic, think a milky accord and then amplified like 10 times. This is the lactonic accord you have here. And the lactonic accord has much more of a development. It feels much more full-bodied and complex and dense. And the tonka bean, like amplified 10 times, at least 10-15 times compared to the previous fragrance. And this is how this fragrance opens up, with like a lot of tonka bean, you guys, like lots and lots and lots of freshly grated tonka bean, so you get that beautiful, rich, dark aroma. The milk accord in the opening, for some reason, it smells like that milk foam with a little bit of cinnamon. And like I've mentioned, lots of tonka beans, you guys. And as the fragrance develops, you lose the cinnamon facet, you lose that milk foam type of accord. And the lactonic accord develops the most rich, yet smooth, yet dense, buttery thickness about it. So it goes even more rich, even more dense, even more decadent, let's just say. And to me, it envelops the fragrance even more, you know. And with the tonka bean, of course, to me, the lactonic accord pair with the tonka bean are the highlights of the fragrance, are like the stars of the show when it comes to Lactea Divina. I pick up some gentle floral-like facets in the background, but again, to me, in Lactea Divina, the florals are, like I've mentioned, in the background to add a little bit of diversity and complexity. All in all, if you like this fragrance, Lactea Divina, it's much thicker, much denser, much richer. It has much more of a body and depth to it. Yeah, and the texture of this fragrance, you guys, it's so smooth. It has so much depth. Wow. Wow, like what Paris Corner did with this fragrance, unbelievable, you guys. Like, this doesn't smell like a 30 € fragrance, you know? Not to say that Her Confession smells like. See, even as I'm smelling this too. Yeah, and let me get the other one. Yeah, even as I'm smelling this too. Here I pick up the florals, jasmine, you guys, like a jasmine bush with a little bit of tuberose somewhere in the mix. A powdery-like facet, I'm guessing either from the musk, either from the florals. Whereas I'm smelling this fragrance and I pick up the lactonic accord first hand for sure. So look, I have to say, both are beautiful fragrances from, let's just say, judging them as standalone fragrances, both are beautiful. None of the two smell affordable, smell sharp, smell alcoholic, smell flat, smell stretched out or diluted by any means. But let's just say that what Paris Corner chose to do with this DNA of Blanche Bête resulted into a fragrance that went in a specific direction, while on the other hand, what Lattafa chose to do with the DNA of Blanche Bête resulted into a fragrance that went in a bit of a different direction. Of course, both have common facets, like when you smell both of these fragrances, Of course, you can tell that they took inspiration from the same fragrance. Yeah, but they did different things with this DNA. So I'd say Lattafa's version is more feminine, more elevated, more sophisticated, let's just say very womanly, very elegant, again, because of the added, not because of the added, because of the emphasis on the floral accord. It's pretty easy to enjoy if you enjoy florals, dare I say. I don't think this is a challenging fragrance. I don't think this is that type of fragrance that you need to have an acquired taste to appreciate it. While on the other hand, what Paris Corner did with this blend, to me, they made it a little bit more creative. They made it a little bit more unique. They took the lactonic accord and they made it the center stage when it comes to this fragrance. And they added all these beautiful layered facets to the lactonic accord. So I have to say this feels more like an acquired taste than Her Confession. Her Confession is much more easy to pull off on a day-to-day basis. Dress it up, dress it down, running errands, wedding fragrance, I don't know, birthday party, all year round type of fragrance. You can wear it to your office, you can wear it on a date night, you can wear it while you're running errands, you can wear it, I don't know, pretty much all occasions. As long as you enjoy floral fragrances with something a little bit lactonic in the background, but I'd say mainly floral. This is mainly a floral forward fragrance with gentle lactonic facets in the background, whereas this fragrance, to me, this feels much more statement, much more, yeah, like I've mentioned, creative, a little bit more artistic because of how they decided to emphasize the lactonic accord. So with this in mind, I think both are beautiful, but again, it depends what you're looking to add to your collection. If you wanted something that's a little bit safer, not boring, because I don't think this is boring, it's just safer because of the emphasis on the floral accord, get Her Confession. But keep in mind, to me, it needs some time to see to fully develop it. While this, you guys, this is all about the milky accord. But when I smell this fragrance, like the lactonic accord paired with the tonka bean, you guys, they awaken something within me. I don't know how to even describe it. It's such a beautiful fragrance. Especially if you're looking for a fragrance that you can wear as a standalone fragrance, you want something that's a little bit more statement, you want something that's created, or let's just say constructed around a perfectly done lactonic accord that doesn't feel juvenile or youthful or cozy or girly or anything like this. No, the opposite. It feels bold, it feels a statement, it feels sophisticated. Of course, it maintains that elevated energy about it, but this is much more bold and loud. And also, I feel like this is much more versatile for layering purposes because this has the body, this has the richness of the lactonic accord. So you can pair this with a lot of other fragrances and it will add this beautiful lactonic accord with a nutty tonka bean accent in the background. Whereas this one, I'd say this would work mainly more as a topper because of the light breezy dimension of the blend. This doesn't have the richness of the lactonic accord to add, let's just say, a creamy milky facet to other fragrances, where this one has. Yeah, let me share my thoughts on Blanche Bete and then let me tell you which one I think is the most similar, and then I will tell you my conclusions as to for all of these three fragrances. So Blanche Bete, I've tested it here and there. I can see that I have done a full wear test. See, you can sense that common Blanche Bete. Wow, you guys, this is the smoothest. This feels, it's so interesting how to describe the texture. This feels in a way like a feathery fragrance, like a minimalistic fragrance, like a very, not really muted, but it has something muted about it. Feathery, minimalistic, angelic type of blend, but rich at the same time. It's very interesting what they managed to create. This one from Paris Corner, this feels rich, but this is a statement fragrance, you know. This one from Lattafa, Her Confession, this feels more floral for sure. Whereas this, to me, it manages to get the best of both worlds in a way. Yeah, this opens up, you guys, with the most delicate yet rich and smooth in a way. Grated tonka bean accord paired with a beautiful gentle lactonic facet. I have to say, like strength-wise, when it comes to the lactonic accord, I'd say the strongest lactonic accord you have in Lactea Divina. In the middle, I would put this one, Blanche Bete. And the least lactonic, especially as it develops and everything like this, is Her Confession by Lattafa. And also how much the tonka bean shines in the composition, I'd say it's pretty much the same. Lactea Divina from Paris Corner, the tonka bean is the most highlighted, but keep in mind, you guys, how to describe you. So Lactea Divina feels like a statement loud fragrance, you know, it doesn't have this muted quality about it. I pick up as well a lot of tonka bean in Blanche Bete, but the way it's blended, it feels so silky smooth and soft and feathery and gentle. And see, as I'm smelling this fragrance, you guys, I can pick up actually incense in this fragrance, but again, it's how, like, the way they manage to take such distinctive, strong accords, but at the same time, how this fragrance feels texture-wise, it's crazy, because you have the smell of incense that, as a standalone scent, it's bold, it's daring, it's an acquired taste for sure. It's a pretty noticeable accord, you know, like, I haven't tried a lot of fragrances made around an incense accord where the incense, even though it's present, it feels it's present and it's muted at the same time. Like, you have incense, but then it's like a silky, smooth and gentle and feathery type of fragrance. I haven't come across this quality in a lot of blends. So I have to say, where this fragrance Blanche Bête really shines is the texture, and how they managed to blend everything, and how they managed to put together such bold and daring notes, but how gentle, like I've mentioned, and soft and feathery this fragrance ends up feeling texture-wise. This is not one of those fragrances that screams, that shouts, that's so loud it fills up rooms. For some reason, to me, this feels like an intimate fragrance. To me, this feels like that type of fragrance that people have to come closer to you to be able to smell it on you. But to me, the beauty is when you smell it closer from the skin. Yeah, and see, as this fragrance has been developing on my skin, first things first, very oily. Let me see if I can show you. Yeah, so first things first is the oil concentration, and then it's also, to me, this feels much more complex. Yes, I pick up the lactonic accord, especially in the opening. It's paired with that beautiful nutty grated tonka bean accord that adds that specific touch to the fragrance. But then I pick up plenty of other different facets to the blend. So this is not just a lactonic accord with a nutty facet right behind it to support the lactonic accord. You know what I mean? To me, I pick up the lactonic accord, that's silky smooth. Think of the most gentle, silky smooth lactonic accord. You have it here. Then add some gentle tonka bean facets in the background. Then add again the most gentle, delicate, warm, suave incensey facet to the fragrance. Then add a bit of cocoa powder that gets to shine more and more as the fragrance, let's just say, moves from the hard part till the dry down. I do pick up some gentle, breezy, airy florals, but again, the florals do not dominate the fragrance. The lactonic accord does not dominate the fragrance. The tonka bean does not dominate the fragrance. In a way, this feels less singular directional. I don't think this is how you say it in English. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that you have much more accords here that shine in this fragrance. They are all in such a beautiful harmony with one another. None overshines the other. In a way, all add on top of the other accord, but like I've mentioned, it results into the most gentle, muted, suave, delicate, feathery, silky type of texture. That's lactonic for sure. But then you have all of these different facets added to it, but they don't steal from the texture of the fragrance. Yeah, this feels refined for sure. This feels refined, you guys. This smells expensive. Beautiful fragrance, very beautiful fragrance. Refined, that's the word. I feel like it's refined, you guys. And it feels, again, it feels womanly, it feels elevated, it feels very sophisticated but refined at the same time. And it does feel modern, but modern in the sense that it feels minimalistic. Because again, I feel like this fragrance, don't expect Blanche Bête to scream, to shout, to fill up rooms. Of course, maybe if you do 20, 30, 40 sprays, I don't know. Of course, it will project much more. But like if you do, I don't know, anywhere from like 3 to 4 to 5 to 10 sprays, yes, it's definitely present. It's not the kind of fragrance that's like a skin scent in an hour or two or anything like this. But throughout the time you're wearing this fragrance, this never gets to scream, to shout, you know, this always sits very elegantly closer to you in a way, you know, so when people come closer to you, they will definitely be able to smell this fragrance on you, but it's not the kind of fragrance that leaves a, I don't know, like a 5-meter sillage as you are walking on the street, you know? So this fragrance, Blanche Bête, has the most complex development. This doesn't just open up milky and stay milky with the tonka bean. To me, this opens up, like I've mentioned, quite milky, quite lactonic, much lighter than how it will smell as it gets a chance to develop. But the way this fragrance evolves, and it has such a smooth development as well, at no moment, like from the opening till the heart, till the dry down, does this fragrance feel sharp or too loud. No, this just, think of a very well done silk dress, you know? Like, yes, it's very eye-catching because it's very gentle and soft, and in a way it embraces your curves and your natural curves, you know what I mean? This is the way this fragrance wears, if I could make this comparison between a silky dress and this fragrance, because the texture is such a silky, smooth, rich yet muted in a way. kind of texture slash fragrance. At no moment on this feels like a statement fragrance, like you're here to make such an impression, but like you naturally make an impression when you wear something like this because of its refined quality, you know, and because of its womanly energy. It's just like when you wear a silk, like a beautiful, well done silk dress, like at no moment on is that the most like bold and daring and attention grabbing type of outfit, but in a way it naturally catches your eye because it just hugs in such a beautiful way your figure, and it highlights what it's supposed to highlight in a way, and it genuinely feels like such an angelic type of fabric, you know. This is the fragrance to me. Wow, very beautiful, minimalistic and muted, but very womanly and angelic, but with something about it, you know. Now let me compare the two inspirations. So first things first, none manages to capture the opening, the development and the dry down of Blanche Bete, which is to be expected, you guys. Honestly, it is to be expected. So don't purchase any of these two fragrances looking for a spot on, like a one-on-one dupe, because you will be disappointed. But I will tell you this, both of these are inspirations, or let's just say twists on the DNA. Let me start with this one from Lattafa. So Lattafa, like I've mentioned, they took the DNA, they took the lactonic core with the nutty tonka bean and with the florals, and they created a fragrance where the floral bouquet is the most highlighted accord and all the other facets move in the background to add support to the floral accord. So this is the lightest, the breeziest, the airiest, beautiful fragrance. All in all, very beautiful, elevated, refined blend. But this is the lightest, the brightest, the most floral forward fragrance. And again, I don't pick up incense in this fragrance, nor cocoa powder. Now this one from Paris Corner, you guys, this to me took the lactonic accord with that gorgeous tonka bean accent, and they made it the spotlight of the fragrance. So throughout the development, I feel like this lactonic accord with the nutty tonka bean will be the thing you will pick up the most. At least is what I pick up the most. They made it very rich, very dense, very full-bodied, very layered. Again, milk foam in the opening, then the milk core with the buttery richness, thickness and smoothness about it as it develops. And yeah, to me, the lactonic accord is the focus in Lactea Divina. So yeah, I pick up no cocoa powder in both of these fragrances. I pick up no incense in both of these fragrances. So I'd say, you guys, they're not really like a spot-on inspiration, none of the two. Like a spot-on dupe or a clone, this is what I wanted to say. Both are inspirations. Both took the DNA and then they remade it, let's just say, in their own way. Now, which one would I recommend? I can't say this one is good, this one is bad, because both are beautiful, but bottom line is it depends what you want to add to your collection. Now, if you were to ask me which one is my favorite one between Lactea Divina and Her Confession, to me, definitely Lactea Divina. I prefer a very well done, robust lactonic accord with tonka bean. I'm not the biggest floral lover in fragrances. I prefer my florals to have something sweet, something dense, something vanillic, something spicy, something to the mix in a way. But I usually don't gravitate towards fragrances where the floral bouquet is the most highlighted. It's like the star of the show in the fragrance. So for me, Lactea Divina, all in all, just impressed me much more. You know what I mean? Like it felt much more complex, much more layered. It had this beautiful depth about it, depth that I don't really pick up in Her Confession. But again, Her Confession to me, it's much more easy to pull off on a day-to-day basis. Dress it up, dress it down. A very elevated, milky floral with the accent of the floral accord. To me, this one is a very statement. This one from Paris Corner is a very statement, loud, bold and daring, milky floral, let's just say, with the accent on the milk accord. So this is everything I wanted to tell you. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. If you want to tell me anything, please put it in the comment section, and I promise that I will get back to you. Also, if you have tried any of these fragrances, let me know what you think about them. Let me know what you think about Blanche Bete. If you have tried it, I would be very curious to hear your thoughts on this fragrance as well. Do you feel like it's worth it? Do you not feel like it's worth it? Which one of the inspirations do you feel like it managed to capture the essence of Blanche Bete? I would love to hear your feedback on that. I feel like both share similarities to Blanche Bete, but none. Even though if I were to say just one, I'd say it's Lactea Divina. To me, I find more similarities in Lactea Divina to Blanche Bete, because Blanche Bete, at no moment throughout the development, it gets to be as airy and floral dominant as Her Confession gets to be. Yeah. So those were my thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. If you want to follow me on Instagram, here is my handle. But yes, like I've mentioned, I will see you in my next video. But until then, I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye, guys.